Welcome to today's news wrap up. Let's dive right into the top stories making headlines today. The New York Times has identified at least 45 employees working for the Department of Government Efficiency, potentially endangering their lives. These employees, many of whom are software engineers with backgrounds in artificial intelligence, have recently deleted their social media accounts due to death threats. This is ridiculous. Elon Musk responded with fury, calling the New York Times pure propaganda, which it is. This is not the first time a leftist media outlet has doxed Doge members, as Wired previously released names of 6 engineers working for the department. This is not cool. Under no circumstances should anyone be doxed just because they're doing their job or if you disagree with what they're doing. It's not right. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, a former vice presidential candidate, made controversial statements claiming that America is being taken over by, quote, fascists and Nazis. The left will never learn. They will never learn. They continue to call people they disagree with names, and it backfired during the 2024 election, and they're continuing to do this crap. But he defended the Democrat Party's protests against President Trump and Elon Musk, asserting the need to protect the U.S. from these alleged threats. Walz has previously compared Trump and Musk's actions to Nazi behavior, including accusing Musk of performing a Nazi salute during the inaugural parade. He also likened the Trump campaign rally to a 1939 pro-Nazi event at Madison Square Garden. These remarks have sparked significant debate and criticism. Ridiculous. The Department of Government Efficiency has uncovered that the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, has been indirectly funding Islamic terror groups with American taxpayer dollars. During a House subcommittee hearing, it was revealed that USAID money intended for emergency use in Gaza ended up in Hamas-controlled areas. Representative Tim Burchett questioned Greg Roman, executive director of the Middle East Forum, who confirmed that USAID funds have also reached groups like Al-Shabaab, Hamas, and Hezbollah. The hearing highlighted the misuse of taxpayer money and the need for stricter oversight to prevent aid from reaching terrorist organizations. One way to prevent this is to stop giving aid. We need to stop giving our taxpayer money to these ridiculous organizations. New York Governor Kathy Hochul's recently signed Climate Change Superfund Act will require oil companies to contribute $3 billion annually for 25 years to fund a fund for public projects addressing so-called climate change. I don't know how I feel about that. This legislation is expected to result in significant energy price increases for New Yorkers, with anticipated rate hikes of 11.4% for electricity and 13.3% for gas. Well, y'all voted for this. Y'all voted this radical leftist in as governor. The additional costs are projected to raise the average monthly energy bill by approximately $140. That is crazy. Critics argue that the law will pass the burden of the new tax onto consumers and create a cycle of increasing costs driven by both corporate and political agendas. The law also includes a ban on natural gas hookups in new buildings, which is ridiculous because we all know how safe natural gas is and how much we have an abundance of natural gas, which might face legal challenges similar to those seen in other states. Ridiculous. They doing everything they can to make it harder on the average person, on the average New Yorker. New Yorkers, run while you can before it becomes the dystopian place that I think is going to turn into. Fox News host Joy Taylor has been sidelined by the network following an unspecified infraction. We think we know what it is, right? This comes after a lawsuit was filed against Fox accusing Taylor of harassment and emotional distress due to her ethnicity. Taylor also allegedly had an affair with Executive Vice President Charlie Dixon, who was put on leave after accusations of sexual assault by a former anchor. Despite Taylor's denials of the allegations, of course, what else would she say? The controversy has led to her absence from the sports talk show Speak for several days. Neither Fox nor Taylor's spokesperson provided comments on the matter. I never really liked her in the first place. I think she's a despicable leftist. A federal judge has ruled that the Trump administration can proceed with plans to fire CIA employees involved in diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI, programs. The ruling came after a group of intelligence officers filed a lawsuit claiming they were unfairly targeted due to their assignment to the DEIA programs. The judge acknowledged the difficult situation, but stated that the law supports the administration's actions. Of course, he's the head executive officer, chief executive officer. The president can fire who he wants in that branch. You know, they serve at the president's leisure, or the president's discretion. But this decision could lead to the dismissal of at least 51 CIA and Office of the Director of National Intelligence officers, as the Trump administration aims to reduce the federal workforce and prioritize national security over DEI initiatives. I'm all for it. Let's go. Let's clean house. States with legalized medical and recreational marijuana are seeing a decrease in anxiety medication prescriptions, according to a recent study in JAMA Network Open. The research found that increased access to marijuana has led to fewer benzodiazepine. You would think, me being a therapist, I'd be able to pronounce these things, but y'all know I struggle with these things. But these prescriptions being filled. I think this is one of the reasons why you don't see you don't see these major companies that prescribe things. They're not for marijuana, because it would eliminate a lot of people taking these type of drugs. Well, while there is evidence suggesting marijuana may be an effective anxiety treatment, it is not yet clear if it is equally effective for everyone. And some people, it's just like everything else, though. Some people have opposite effects than what is intended, because it's biology. Everyone's biology is different. But the study also observed a slight increase in antipsychotic and antidepressant prescriptions, highlighting the variation in state marijuana laws and their impact on prescription patterns. This is why the medical companies are fighting against it. But the findings have significant implications for insurance systems, policymakers, and patient care, offering a potential alternative to traditional anxiety medications. Maryland is grappling with severe economic and energy crises exacerbated by progressive policies from the Democratic leadership. The state has seen a sharp rise in electricity costs and significant power shortages due to the closure of fossil fuel plants and a reliance on green energy initiatives. I mean, we tried to warn them. It's not sustainable. This so-called green energy stuff is not sustainable. Additionally, proposals like the Next Generation Energy Act and the Renewable Energy Certainty Act prioritize clean energy but fail to address immediate rate relief for residents. Critics argue these measures overlook practical solutions, leaving Marylanders burdened with skyrocketing bills. The situation is further strained by the anticipated economic downturn tied to federal downsizing and poor fiscal management, prompting warnings about the state's financial instability. I mean, this is what happened when you vote left. An investigation into Thomas Crooks, who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump, has raised concerns about potential accomplices and a larger criminal network. Despite findings from private investigators, including geofencing analysis and devices tied to the suspect, the FBI has been accused of obstructing the inquiry. Details about Crooks, such as overseas accounts and behavior at the rally, remain unclear, as evidence was reportedly removed by federal agencies. Critics argue that the lack of transparency and proper action during the incident highlights serious failings in the FBI and Secret Service's handling of the case. The situation has fueled suspicions about whether the obstruction stemmed from incompetence or deeper involvement. Y'all know I believe in the latter. Joy Behar recently made controversial remarks about Elon Musk, claiming he was, quote, pro-apartheid due to being born in South Africa during apartheid, even though he was a child. She later admitted she was unsure of her claims and apologized, seemingly out of fear of legal action. Critics pointed out the flawed logic in her statements, noting that living under a regime does not imply support for it. Behar's comments have been criticized as baseless and reflective of a broader trend of misinformation on her show. I don't know why people watch The View. It's a ridiculous show. The incident has sparked discussions about accountability in public discourse. Leaked footage from Greenhaven Correctional Facility highlights the rise in violence within New York prisons since the implementation of the HALT Act in 2022. The video shows severe incidents, including attacks on staff and inmates, with one clip depicting a fatal stabbing. Correctional officers have gone on strike, rightfully so, demanding the repeal of the HALT Act and better safety measures. Ridiculous Governor Kathy Hochul has responded with legal threats and scare tactics to force officers back to work, even targeting those on leave. Critics argue that the HALT Act has undermined prison safety by stripping officers of the tools to maintain order and incentivize good behavior. Many officers cite the unsafe conditions and grueling hours as factors harming their mental health and family lives. They definitely need to repeal that act. I mean, they give all the power to the freaking prisoners, and you're not able to defend yourself. It's crazy to me. I worked at a prison as a prison therapist. I can tell you the HALT Act is not for the officers. Lastly, Attorney General Pam Bondi revealed that the FBI's New York office withheld thousands of pages of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein, despite previously assuring her office that all files had been provided. In response, FBI Director Kash Patel vowed to uphold integrity and accountability, promising to uncover any hidden records and ensure their full disclosure to the Department of Justice and the public. Bondi demanded the immediate release of all remaining materials, including documents, audio, and video recordings tied to Epstein and his clients. Patel emphasized that under his leadership, the FBI will prioritize transparency and the Constitution, leaving no stone unturned in pursuit of justice. Well, that's all for today's news wrap up. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.